Good morning and welcome to week 1. For week 1 and for all of the subsequent weeks, we have it set up in a view, and often there's a read, review, and do, and that mirrors the syllabus, which I'll show you in a minute. In the view section, you will watch the video, which I'm creating at the moment, so you'll have a link to the video. You'll look through the review documents. Usually those would be something in a face-to-face setting that I would pass out in class. And then you'll move on to your due. That's the assignments that you have due typically by Sunday of that particular week. Let's take a minute, because this is our very first week of the semester, to look at the course syllabus. For the course syllabus, you'll notice that my information, I'm Laura Gabrion. I'll be your instructor this semester. This is a fully online class. Because it is, I'm not on campus with an office. I don't have an office phone, but you can reach me at all times via email. And my office hours, I'm happy to meet you via Zoom or Google Meet or anything that's convenient to you. The beginning of this first page walks you through some of the university-specific information, the course outcomes, both general and specific. The more important information as far as our own individual class here is your required texts. You've got access to an online, an ebook for Grizz Rights. I won't refer to Grizz Rights too often, and most of you who've had Write 1050 already have access to the ebook, but I will use our Argument and Critical Thinking. It's a free online, it's an open education resource, so it basically, you won't have to purchase text for this class. In addition, I would highly suggest that you refer often to the Purdue Online Writing Lab as your guide for APA format. The course procedures are laid out here, but I'll remind you that it is entirely online. You'll use Moodle to access information about our class. I recommend that you use a computer as opposed to a smartphone or tablet. We will do different things each week, things like reading assignments, online discussions, individual writing activities, etc. But I want you to make sure that you're logged in regularly. I would suggest 5 times a week, but you'll be able to find kind of your comfort in that. I will be logging on probably daily to make sure that I'm addressing any questions that you have or grading as things pop into Moodle, but those are my suggestions. Remember too that because this is an online class, you're going to want to make sure that you always have access to both Wi-Fi and a device. If you're having any trouble with that, there are some numbers and emails here for technical assistance, but remember, it will be up to you to have that backup plan. So if your computer is down, are you getting to a public library? Are you getting to the OU campus so that you've got access to computers? Are you going to a place where you can access Wi-Fi, like a coffee shop or a fast food establishment? I want you to keep in mind that you have some certain, obligations here, expectations as far as, as a course participant. I will also, like I said, log in probably every day. I will respond to any of your emails or questions within 1 to 2 days, and your assignments will be graded in a timely manner. You can see that our course has certain projects, a portfolio, some smaller assignments, a video presentation, and discussion forums. And those are allocated, according to the percentage of the total grade. That's something that you want to look at. Obviously, as we move through the semester, your projects increase in weight. We do adhere to the 4.0 grading scale. We have letter grades here, so I want you to kind of keep that in mind. I will eventually add a column that allows you to understand how those mesh with a point system. But give me probably a couple of days to get that information in. You'll see as the weeks go on that all of the grades fall into various categories, and those are associated again with your overall grade that align to these percentages. There is a late a submission of work. Each student is allowed 2 late assignments for the entire semester. Forums do have their own rubric, in which late forums are addressed, and I'll go over that in just a minute. But if you do turn in a late assignment, it must be turned in no later than 1 week after the original due date, or it won't be accepted for credit, and that will be reduced by 10%. So if something is worth, let's just say 50 points, you'll automatically be reduced by 5, and it will need to be in within the week after the original due date. Remember that we do have an academic conduct policy here. Cheating, plagiarizing, obviously are going to create a situation where, as an instructor, I would need to report you to the dean of students, and then the issue would be in their hands. But of course, we want to avoid anything like that, especially since this class is research centered. If you have questions about citations, please reach out ahead of time. I'm always happy to walk you through the proper way to cite something so that an academic issue in regards to conduct, it can be avoided. Remember that as you submit, this is the writing class, so you're going to submit things like drafts to me and to peers. So we have a pattern for that embedded in the class structure. But I want you to know that your writing will always be viewed by peers. So we encourage you to remember that it's a public, not private writing atmosphere that we set up here in class. For faculty feedback, we do turn in midterm progress reports for any students that are in jeopardy of failing the class. So if you're doing well and there are no concerns, faculty feedback won't be posted for you. Faculty feedback postings generate a letter to you so that you'll be aware. But I want you to remember that in Moodle, you always have access to your grades. So you should know where you stand at all times. If this class isn't working out for you, I won't be offended, but please drop as necessary. This class is offered every semester in multiple modalities, so you shouldn't be, if it doesn't work out this semester for various reasons, you can take it again in the winter easily, or in the summer. If you go by a different name or you prefer different pronouns, please let me know. You can make me aware of that right away in the beginning of the semester. If you need additional accommodations, reach out to Disability Support Services. We've got some other guidelines in regards to policies and procedures on campus that are, constructed to make things better and easier for you and to keep you as a whole student in mind at all times. Keeping in that mindset, we've got a beautiful writing center open to you. I highly suggest that you use it as you see fit. I've used the writing center. It's an incredible resource for you. And being that this is a writing class, I would suggest that as you look through the due dates for assignments that are laid out in the pages below, if you are interested in making a writing center appointment, I would make it in advance so that you know that you've secured that spot. And again, we've got some other information here that's there to guide your experience as a student. Finally, when you turn in that writing prompt this week, it will help me determine if you would benefit from one-on-one tutorial instruction from a right faculty member. If I believe that would be helpful to you to be successful in this class, I'll make that suggestion. You do not have to take that course, but if it's offered and you've got the availability for that one-on-one tutorial instruction, then that paperwork will be available in our department, and you will be able to sign up for that class. As you'll notice, the weeks are laid out just like they are in Moodle. So the view, review, do, and in subsequent weeks you'll see view, read, review, and do. But again, these are aligned, so you'll always watch the video first. You'll look through that review information, and then you'll do your assignments. So hopefully that will guide you through the course as a whole. Remember here, you've got a discussion forum grading rubric that will just open it for a second here. That will guide you to the most, the highest number of points possible for the kind of work that I would expect to see in your forums, and it moves down according to, obviously lower points will be allocated for underdeveloped posts using a conversational level of diction instead of academic language with minimal writing errors. If you're more than 6 hours late, it goes to 5 points out of the 15, and then more than 72, it would go to 0. The percentage distribution of individual assignments is here so that you understand that when something like, project number 1 is 15% of your overall grade, the smaller assignments within it are allocated with different varying percentage points. I want you to understand that because as you move through assignments, especially as you're getting close to due dates, you may have an issue with getting something in on time for some reason. I would obviously always opt for the higher weighted assignment if you had to make a choice on a Sunday evening. Hopefully you'll never have to encounter that, but again, this helps guide some of your decision making, but it also keeps you aware of all of the individual assignments that make up an overarching project. All right, so now we're to the due section. For this week, you're going to participate in a relatively informal discussion forum. You're going to use Animoto to make a short video about yourself. It's very easy to use, but I have included a couple of tutorials if you need those. I've also included my own example. If you're going to create that 30-second video, you'll post the link to it, and then you'll respond to at least 2 other students' videos and comment on them. Gives us an opportunity in an online setting to have a little bit of face with name recognition. And then as we talked about, when we talked about that writing, supervised study, Write 1000, you're going to submit to me a writing prompt this week. You're going to do this in essay form, so think about what you need to do for your introduction, your body paragraphs, and your conclusion, but you're going to read through this information about the effects of social media use on young people. You'll think about what your position is. Do you agree or disagree? Is there another position? So again, you're building up that introduction where you're going to take a stand on this issue. You're going to use your body paragraphs to develop evidence that supports your stand, and you're going to conclude. You're going to consider whether or not you need a counter argument. You don't need to research for this particular assignment. You've got some information here that will guide you. You've also got the sources that this was based upon and access to them. But if you find that you would like to add some additional research, I'm not going to be looking at it for APA format. I'm simply going to be looking for the structure of your argument, and that you need to know how to set one up so that, again, you'll be successful throughout the rest of the semester. All right, that lays out week 1. If you've got questions, don't hesitate to ask. I look forward to working with you this semester. It's one of my favorite classes to teach, and it's going to be a great semester.